Why I like gardening. Gardening to me is my life. I grow my own fruits, I grow my own vegetables, and I basically eat off that all year round. I grow a lot of tomatoes because I can a lot of tomatoes. I grow a lot of green beans because I can a lot of green beans. Another reason why I love gardening is because it settles me down. It settles my mind down. It makes me calmer. Instead of being out there and freaking out about what's going on in the world, I'm out there worrying about, hey, am I going to get that tomato by the end of the day? Or did that squash get ripe? Can I turn that into, something for dinner tonight? That's something that I thrive for. It excites me. I love gardening. And I think that you would love gardening too. It doesn't take much to garden. You can start it in a pot. You can start it in an apartment. You can start it in the ground. It just, you plant, you go. Seeds want to grow. That's something that is very true. Seeds want to grow. Um, my first garden that I grew was actually a salsa garden for my husband. He loves salsa. That's something that he loves to eat. And so I grew everything that you would grow for salsa, which would be tomatoes, cilantro, onions, and garlic. And I would grow that and make salsa for him every chance that he wanted. He'd say, hey, can I have salsa? And I'm like, yeah. I would go out to the garden and get what I needed and make him, salsa that day. And he would have it and it would be amazing. I think a lot of people get scared of it just because they don't understand the benefits of what gardening can do for you. The benefits of gardening for me is it calms me down, and I think it could calm everybody else down. Also, too, it's another great place to get vitamin D. A lot of people don't understand that being out in the sun can help out. Jess from Roots and Refuge Farm in 2018 made a video called The First Time Gardener, and the first time gardener to her is anybody and everybody. She started her first garden in a kiddie pool. She grew strawberries for the first time, and she had very little money, and that's the only thing she could grow was strawberries in a pool, in a kiddie pool. And you got to understand too that gardening isn't always a success. You will have failures, but they're all learning and they are accomplishments no matter what. Um, Rebecca Joy Samborough in 2020 wrote an article called "During the Pandemic, Seed, Soil, Sun, and Discovering the Many Helpful Benefits of Gardening." And she found for herself, she lived in an apartment, and she basically went up to the top floor and planted a tomato plant and one squash plant and a few flowers. And she basically documented how it felt to be within the pandemic and gardening in a small scale area. And she found out it was very beneficial. It also gives you vitamin D being out there. Ming Ko wrote an article, "How Might Contacting with Nature Help Promote Human Health?" An hour a day out in nature clears your mind, calms your mind, lowers your blood pressure. It helps with breathing, because a lot of times when people are stressed out, they start breathing very heavily. And then also too, James Ulmer in 2019 wrote an article called that helped. It says how gardening can help my anxiety in 4 steps. So that's something that he wrote. And I suffer with anxiety. Anxiety is a big thing with me. And I'm also very much of an introvert. And being out in nature with other people who are in the same realm as me, who love gardening, I could talk for hours for gardening. If we had a longer time, I would record a lot more. Going out to the garden for me and sitting out there and hearing the bees going towards the flowers and seeing the big flowers from my squash plant or the little flowers from my tomato plants, knowing that one day those are going to turn into really delicious tomatoes. That's one thing I love. I grow a lot of tomatoes just because I use a lot of tomatoes, but tomato sandwiches in the summer, oh, they're the best. And I would recommend anybody growing a tomato. I like Baker Creek heirloom tomatoes. They're my best tomatoes I've ever grown. And I believe that anybody who can go out there and get their hands in the soil and start gardening, in a pot, in green stock containers, in your backyard, straight in the soil, is a great way to get started into gardening. I recommend everybody to garden. If you don't know how to garden, get a book. Jess from Roots and Refuge wrote a book last year called The First Time Gardener, and she goes into in-depth detail on how to garden. In conclusion, why do I like gardening? Because it calms my mind. It calms my spirit. It makes me happy to go out there and see. I open up my garden gate and I see bees flying around. I see birds coming in and out, and I know that they're getting the tomato bugs that I can't see. Seeing the beautiful flowers that I planted with them, because I plant sunflowers and I get the pollinators to come out, because that's what you want in your garden. You want pollinators. So I plant beautiful flowers like zinnias, rose bushes. I have those. Um, and just getting back to nature. Nature is a big thing. We all go camping, but we didn't know that we can do it in our own backyard just by planting some, maybe pumpkin seeds. Because, Halloween's not that far around the corner. So planting those. So, again, like I said, in conclusion, why do I love gardening? Because it makes me happy, and it's something that I love and I cherish, and I'll keep doing this till the day that I die. And I recommend you doing the same. Go get a tomato plant and start for the first time. Thank you.